So as Jason just said, with Sashi's stepping down from the city position, City Council of Mill Valley position, that also has the effect of her stepping down from the LAFCo board. And so as chairman, as vice chairman for tonight, I will be chairing the meeting instead of Sashi. Sasha, I hope I will do you well, to do you honor by not doing anything wrong tonight. So it's good to see you here, smiling as always. So I'm going to call to order officially at 7:03. Jason, you can take the roll.
Sure. And you'll excuse me because I'm trying to do this as well. Vice Chair Caius.
Present.
Commissioner Arnold.
Present.
Commissioner Conley is absent at this point. Commissioner Kohler.
Here.
Commissioner Murray.
Here.
Commissioner Loader. He is absent at this point in time. Commissioner Campbell.
James, you're on mute.
Present.
All right, thank you. Commissioner, alternate Commissioner Moody.
Here.
All right, and alternate Commissioner Savell.
Here.
And right now you are a voting commissioner since Commissioner Loader has not arrived yet, although I do expect him today. We have a quorum.
Okay, great. Then next item on the agenda is the agenda review.
We do have one member of the public who is here for an item. I would suggest we move that item to the top of the agenda, which is item number 7.
Okay, and that item is the former commissioner, the approval of accommodation for former Commissioner Sashi McEntee, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
So can I make a motion to move item 7 to the top of the agenda?
I'll accept that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Craig, second. That's
All
fine.
right, so on that, we will go through Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Caius,
Aye.
Commissioner Arnold.
Lost Judy.
We lost her for a minute there. Commissioner Conley is not here. Commissioner Kohler,
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Murray,
Aye.
Commissioner Savell.
Savell?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And I am noticing that we have Commissioner Conley now present.
Oh, damn it.
Good
All
evening,
right,
everyone.
so we have the votes needed to do that.
Okay, then in that case, the next item we will address is item number 7, which is approval of a commendation for former Commissioner Sashi McEntee for her service on Marin LAFCo.
So in front of you today is a resolution. Or accommodation. There are a few small changes that are technical changes that we are making to it. They're administrative, I believe, in nature. But other than that, I would yield to you to decide what you want to do. And if we do have the former commissioner with us, if you want to give her a few minutes to speak as well, you're welcome to do so.
Well, I'll just start off by saying, Sashi, it's good to see you back here again. You will always be welcome to join us if you want, but I suspect this will be the last time that we would see you on any kind of a regular basis. Certainly for me, I've enjoyed working with you during the past number of years that you've been on the Mill Valley City Council and Marin LAFCo. So it's a pleasure to see you again tonight. And this accommodation is greatly deserved, and we appreciate your service. And Sashi, if you'd like to say a few words, then go ahead. And if any of the other commissioners would like to make any comments, then this would be a good time to do that as well. Barbara, your hand's up.
I'm just wondering, could we read the proclamation, Chair?
Jason, do you have it? You can read it?
Yeah, hold
No,
on.
I'd be happy to read it since.
Oh,
I
by all means, go ahead,
I wrote
Commissioner
it.
Kohler.
Barbara, go ahead.
I think we'd like to record it.
Sure. Barbara, go ahead.
Marin Local Agency Formation Commission proclamation in honor of Sashi Sabaratnam McEntee LAFCo Commission member, October 2016 through July 2022. Whereas Sashi McEntee has served as a commissioner for the Marin Local Agency Formation Commission since October 2016, as the Marin LAFCo chair since June 2018, and has been voted chair annually for 4 years. And whereas Sashi is a city member on LAFCo appointed by the Marin County Council of Mayors and Council Members, and she has served on the Mill Valley City Council for nearly 7 years. And whereas Sashi led the recruitment and hiring of Jason Freed as LAFCo's executive officer, worked to stabilize the staffing and budget, and ensured that the commission got on track with its 5-year municipal services review study schedule. And whereas she initiated the first ever special study of countywide fire services with staff developed a shared services workshop held in April 2021. Whereas Sashi was nominated by the commission for the 2021 Cal LAFCo Outstanding LAFCo Commissioner Award. And whereas Sashi is a single mom of 2 wonderful young women, Ava and Sabrina, and their dog Kyan, and she somehow manages to work full-time, serve on the Mill Valley Council, serve on several boards and committees, and she is pursuing a master's degree, all at the same time, always excelling at all. Whereas Sashi has clearly demonstrated her commitment and unwavering support to Marin LAFCo through her tireless efforts to overhaul the Marin LAFCo Policy Handbook, creation of LAFCo's first ever personnel handbook, along with numerous changes to commission protocols. Whereas Sashi has moved her family to Sonoma County and thus sadly must leave the Mill Valley Council, LAFCo, and other associated boards and commissions she serves on for the city and MCCMC. Whereas Sashi is respected by all she serves with on Marin LAFCo due to her thoughtfulness, commitment, dedication, and conscientiousness. She has truly served the public with integrity and intelligence. Now, therefore, be it hereby proclaimed that in acknowledgement of her exemplary service and many contributions, Marin LAFCo sincerely thanks Sashi Sabaratnam McEntee and wishes her success in her future endeavors. Thank you.
Well stated.
You're here.
Okay, would any of the other commissioners like to make any comments? I see no hands raised. So we're going to go to the member of the public who's with us, which is Sashi. So Sashi, would you like to make any comments?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to make this commendation, and I've just really enjoyed working with all of you, and I'm really I feel good about Marin LAFCo being in great hands with such an engaged commission and really terrific staff. You're in a great place to move forward, and I'll be delighted to hear what you all do in the future. And thank you very much for giving me this moment.
Well, you
Thank
deserve
you.
it. So, I'll clap along. So I am going to ask Mala a question, a procedural question that, you know, I've used in other boards. But Mala, what is the process, or is there an acceptable process? So instead of going through and doing a person by person vote on something like this, that we essentially acknowledge unanimity of a belief on this, opinion of this, and not have to go through a full vote. Is there a process for that?
I've seen proclamations just issued. I don't know what we've done in the past. So if that's something we've done in the past, I've seen that done. I do note that I was actually looking at this issue because I was curious myself. We wrote approval of commendations. So given just that the agenda says that, it might just be in this case that we move forward with the vote. And given the fact that we're using teleconferencing, we're required to do a roll call vote.
Okay, then I'll defer to that. And do I hear a motion then to approve the commendation for Sashi McEntee?
I'll move that.
Campbell.
Judy, move with a second.
I think Campbell seconded that.
Yep, James, okay. Okay, then Jason, you want to take a vote?
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Commissioner Kayas,
Aye.
Commissioner Arnold,
Aye.
Commissioner
Thank you.
Conley,
Aye.
Commissioner Kohler,
Aye.
Commissioner Murray,
Aye.
Commissioner Savell.
Yes.
All right, unanimously approved.
And Sasha, I do believe that, Jason has a nice, pretty printed version of this in a frame that he's going to be getting to. You can either pick up or he'll have mailed. But again, we thank you for your service and thank you for working together, and wish you well in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Chair Caius, or Vice Chair Caius.
Right, thank you.
Have a good meeting, all. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, let's continue on the agenda. So with that, the next item would be public open time. Since Sashi, I believe, was the only public. Jason, is there any public? Any comments?
We have no hands raised and no emails received.
Okay, let's continue to move forward. The next item is consent calendar, of which there are 4 items on consent. One is the approval of the minutes for June 9th. Second is ratification of payments. Third is resolution allowing for video conference meetings. And the fourth is resolution to accept the biannual review and amendment of Marin LAFCo Conflict of Interest Code. So do I have any comments about any of those, asking for taking any of those off of consent, or do I have a motion to approve consent with those 4 items?
I'll move the consent calendar, Campbell.
Okay, James, motion?
I'll second Kohler. Don't know what's going on there, but somebody's got something crazy in the background.
Okay, so I did hear a motion and a second. So if there are no other comments, Jason, can you take a roll?
Sure. Well, there is no hands raised, no emails received for public comment either.
Okay.
Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Caius,
Aye.
Commissioner Arnold,
Aye.
Commissioner Conley,
Aye.
Commissioner Kohler,
Aye.
Commissioner Murray,
Aye.
Commissioner Savell.
Yes.
All right, unanimously approved.
Okay, moving right along. Next item is the election of chair and a necessary vice chair. So as I've already mentioned, as all of you know, with Sashi stepping down for tonight, I moved into chairing the meeting for tonight, but I'm still officially vice chair. So Jason's going to go through the process here of, selecting a chairman and potentially a vice chair, so we can continue on until the next election of officers in 2023. So Jason, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. So tonight you have, with the absence of a chair, as the vice chair mentioned, he serves in that role until such time as the commission decides to elect a new chair. You have that ability tonight. Any regular commissioner can be elected chair. Alternates, unfortunately, cannot become chair or vice chair. So we need to do this in 2 parts. You need to elect a chair. Should you elect the current vice chair as your chair, we will then go through the same process to elect a new vice chair tonight, because we did agendize it in a way that allows us to do that all in 1 meeting rather than in 2, but it's completely the commission's choice as to who they want to pick to be their next chair.
Okay. So I guess to start the process then, is there any motion, a nomination for chair to fill the remaining part of Sashi's term?
I'd like to nominate you, Lou.
Second.
James, thank you. Judy, thank you. Any other nominations? Seeing no other nominations, Jason, I guess we can take it for a vote.
Okay. Hold on 1 second here. All right, Commissioner Campbell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Caius,
Aye.
Commissioner Arnold,
Aye.
Commissioner Conley,
Aye.
Commissioner Kohler,
Aye.
Commissioner Murray,
Aye.
Commissioner Savell.
Yes.
All right, unanimously, Vice Chair Caius is now Chair Caius.
Well, thank you, everybody, for your support. Appreciate that. And I'll try to continue with Sashi's, effective chairmanship of the Marin LAFCo board. Probably the only thing I will tell you that I'm going to, try to strike for is just tightening up the time that we spend on these meetings. I certainly want to make sure that there's adequate and complete conversation and discussion about any items on the agenda. But I am going to, as you'll notice over the months, try to focus on making sure that we keep these as efficient as possible. So with that in mind, then, Jason, back to you for the vice chair.
Yeah, you now have because of electing the vice chair to chair, you now have a vacant vice chair position. So staff takes no position. It's up to the commission to decide who they want as their vice chair. If anyone has questions on the role of the vice chair, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, I don't see any hands raised.
Campbell has his hand raised.
No, I'm sorry, James. Okay, go ahead, James.
If there's no questions, I'd like to make a nomination for Barbara Kohler for vice chair.
Okay, Barbara, nominate.
I'll second.
That Craig?
Yeah, second
Okay,
for Murray District.
so that we have one candidate for the vice chair position. Are there any other nominations?
So I'll note that, and I'm kind of filling in for him tonight, Commissioner Dennis Rodoni had expressed some interest in being considered for vice chair as well.
So Damon, does that mean that you're nominating Dennis?
Yeah, I guess I will as his designee tonight.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay, so there's a second from Judy. So now we have two candidates for vice chair. Are there any other candidates or any other nominations for vice chair tonight? I see no hands raised or comments. So Jason, how do we proceed with the voting on the two candidates?
Well, there probably, I would assume, be a little bit of discussion, and then Mala, do they have to vote? Can they vote for yes or no, or can they vote for one candidate or the other?
I think we would probably just go in order. I mean, the second nomination wasn't really a substitute motion. Sometimes when you have substitute motions, you take those first, but I would suggest that we maybe just take it in order of the nominations and vote on each of those after any discussion, of course.
Okay. Barbara, do you have any comments to make as one of the candidates?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm honored and appreciate that James and Craig made motions to support me. I think one of the things I see in LAFCo is I've been on since 2019, and I've really done my homework and tried to be a full participatory member in LAFCo. And one of the things I try to do is give the staff my comments way before, so there's no surprises, and they have an opportunity to straighten me out, perhaps, if I'm on the wrong track, which has happened, but also to make sure if there are necessary changes, that they're able to be ready to do those rather than trying to do that on the fly of the meeting. And that fits with your idea of keeping the meetings as streamlined as possible, Chair. I also think it's the Board of Supervisors has a lot of positions on some very weighty boards and commissions that city members and special district members don't necessarily get the opportunity to be on. And I think it's important to hear, while I certainly value the positions and the input by the Board of Supervisors in LAFCo, I think it's important to hear from our smaller bodies, the city and special districts in a leadership role. And I do feel that, I know, Lou, you'll probably be here almost every meeting, so there won't be that many opportunities or need for me, but I'm happy to help where needed and step in where needed. So that's my few cents. And I think it's also good to get a little new blood, since I've seen Sashi through her leadership take us some new directions. And while we have a lot to do in LAFCo and staff have done a great job, I think it's been kind of good So I look forward to more of those new directions where it fits within our staff time. Thank you.
Thank you. Damon, since you seem to be, kind of the second for Dennis, I'll give you an opportunity like I just gave to Barbara.
Certainly would count it in utmost respect for Barbara. So if that's the direction of the board, I'm fully on board. I think where Supervisor Redoni is coming from is he has been a longtime member of LAFCo, very much understands the role of it, the importance. And I guess his counterpoint to what Barbara was mentioning is that in the rotation, certainly since the time I've been on it as well, there has not been a county rep occupying one of the officer positions. So I think that's kind of one thing he wanted to have emphasized tonight, in addition to the fact that he has served a long time on this board. And obviously, as I think we all know, has served well. So that having been said, yes, if the will of the board is to appoint Barbara, I think we all know her and have appreciated working with her as well.
Okay, Damon, thank you. So, Jason, back to you. For excuse me, got a rough throat. For taking a vote on the two candidates, which I guess would be the same process we use for the chair position.
Correct. So Mal, I'm just to make sure I'm doing this correctly. We're having a vote first on Kohler. If that passes, I'm assuming if there's a majority that say yes to that, I'm assuming we don't take a vote on the second one, or do we take a vote on both of them?
I think that's right, Jason, that you just announced, and then if it doesn't pass, then we take a second one. And
okay, perfect. Thank you. In that case, then Commissioner Campbell.
Aye.
Commissioner Arnold.
No, but I certainly would, I respect Barbara, and if she's the one, if she wins, that's fine with me. I think she would be good.
Okay. Commissioner Conley.
Yeah, it's almost like, can you come back to me?
You want to pass it out, what you're asking?
I'll respect that. Damon deserves that respect, so I'll defer to him.
Commissioner Kohler.
Aye.
Commissioner Murray.
I also have a caveat though. So, I've worked with Dennis on LAFCo for many years, and he served well. He really does his homework. He thinks about each of the topics and provides good discussion. He has provided subcommittee work and chair of the DUC committee, the budget committee, some pretty significant committees. So I wish I'd known Dennis was interested as well too. And I do like to see that our county supervisors are interested to step up. But nevertheless, Barbara does her homework, and for a relatively new person here, I think she does attend our meetings and is very well prepared. And as she presented, I think she does engage with the EO and staff quite well. But that's nothing to take away from Dennis. I certainly would, if Barbara wasn't the candidate, I'd be supporting Dennis as well. But again, sorry Dennis isn't here. I appreciate all his work. I hope he continues on and has an opportunity. I thought maybe he did serve as vice chair in some years past, but that's good to know. And my vote's for Barbara though tonight. That's a yes.
Yes. Okay. And Commissioner Savell.
Yeah, and I might note too as a caveat that I listened to what Commissioner Conley said. And normally I would be more in favor of we haven't had a board member as vice chair or chair for quite some time, but he said that Dennis had a lot of background experience already with LAFCo, and Commissioner Kohler's been with us for a shorter period of time. So given that, I'm voting for Commissioner Kohler.
Okay, so it's a yes for Kohler. Thank you.
That's cool.
Now Chair Caius.
I would vote for Barbara Kohler. And I agree with all the comments about Dennis. You know, we have the luxury of having two good, strong candidates. So it's not a simple, decision, but I think I am casting my vote for Barbara.
Commissioner Conley?
So I guess the question is like, does Barbara have the majority?
Mhm.
And in which case maybe Judy and I can
I
join
was
in
gonna
or whatever.
I was gonna get back to that. If depending on how you voted, I was gonna let Judy change her vote if she so desired.
Okay. But he chickened out. So.
So, Commissioner Conley, how do you vote?
Yeah, so am I correct in understanding
Yes.
Barb already has a
So far, yes.
majority?
So far, all yeses except for Commissioner Arnold, who probably might change her vote in a second if you vote yes.
So Damon, I think the answer to your question is yes, we already have a majority. So she is now effectively the vice chair.
What I'm inviting Commissioner Arnold to do as well is
Yes.
send Barb on with a unanimous.
Yeah, happy to
Okay.
change
Yeah.
my vote.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
both yeses. I'm just trying to get to hear yes there. That's what I needed to hear. Thank you. Okay, so we have a Commissioner Arnold, you wish to change your vote to yes.
Yes, I
Okay,
do.
we have
Uh-huh.
unanimous consent then on the election of Barbara Kohler as vice chair.
Can I just mention something, Chair Caius?
Sure, as long as it's a quick, short comment, sure.
It's quick, don't worry. I just want to thank all of you, and I value Dennis incredibly as much. I sit on MWPA with him. He's a valued partner on so much, but I so appreciate all your support. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Barb. Thank you for serving, and I'm sure we'll continue on with a good path to follow. Okay, so let's continue then. Item number 6, Jason, the Afco conference.
Sure, you have technically 3 items in front of you, although I think one only really needs you to take action tonight. The first 2 are the nominations for Afco Board of Directors. Prior to this meeting, I had surveyed our county supervisors and our special district members and asked if any of them were interested in running for the Board of Directors for Afco. None of them got back to me saying that they were interested. So unless that changes tonight, we could, kind of skip by that one. And I'll just quickly look at the 4 of you or 5 of you that have the ability to serve in those seats. Next year, the cities and public member seat will be open. They rotate which ones are open each cycle for us. So you'll get your chance next year if you're not in this year's cycle. But I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand or look enthusiastic about running for Afco board. So we'll move on to the other one. The other one is nominations for Afco awards. If we want to nominate ourselves or someone else for an award, we're welcome to do so. Please keep in mind that they're due tomorrow. And the likelihood that we put a good award thing together is unlikely with a 24-hour notice type of a thing. I did yell at Afco a little bit because they got their stuff out a little bit later than they normally do. So normally we would be able to do this at our June meeting, but they didn't get the nomination stuff out until after we had our June meeting stuff done. So, and they're aware that they got it out late and we're going to work on it to do it better next time. So unless I see anything on that, the last item is probably the one that we do need to make a decision on today. At the conference, we get to nominate, or we get to have a voting delegate and an alternate delegate, and if need be, 2 alternate delegates, depending on how many people are going. That person represents LAFCO. There's basically a regional roundtable that is done where there's voting that occurs on some, like, what's going on in the region and stuff, and then there's a annual meeting at the very end where there's a few items that also get voted on. Mainly, it's voting on the board of directors, and then a few like housekeeping things that like change to our bylaw, to their bylaws and stuff like that. Nothing really ever controversial for the most part. The only person who's told me so far that they are going is Commissioner Kohler is planning to attend. I'm planning to attend. So it's up to the commission to decide if they want to have us be their voting delegates or not. Normally it's the chair, vice chair, regular commissioner, alternate commissioner, and staff is kind of the pecking order that Marin LAFCo has used. So I would say, Commissioner Kohler, or vice chair, I should now say Kohler, should be the voting delegate. My recommendation, I would be the alternate in case for some reason she can't show up. And then we always leave the ability in case something dramatic happens, that the chair has the ability to appoint someone else before the meeting should the vice chair and the executive officer not be able to attend and someone else is. So that's what my recommendation is for you on voting delegates to the Cal LAFCo conference. That is all.
Okay, Jason, thanks for explaining that. So what we now need to do, and by the way, I would consider going, but that those dates of the meeting conflict with something I have, so I have a conflict with the schedule. But now that I've heard that, so Jason, we need to make nominations for who our voting commissioners will be. I mean, or what's the process? What do we need to take action on specifically?
Someone just needs to make a motion. If you agree with what I said, make a motion on staff's recommendation. If not, then nominate someone else to be the voting delegate and the alternate delegates.
I'll move that Kohler as vice chair as voting delegate and alternate as EO Jason Freed.
Second, Campbell.
Okay. Any other comments?
We have no hands raised and no emails received.
If not, then JC, you can take a roll call.
Commissioner Campbell.
Aye.
Chair Kayas.
Aye.
Commissioner Arnold.
Aye.
Commissioner Conley.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kohler.
Aye.
Commissioner Murray.
Aye.
Commissioner Sabel.
Yes,
All right, we have unanimous consent.
Okay, great. Barbara and Jason, I'm sure you'll represent us well.
Do our best. You ready for the next item, Chair?
I'm sorry?
You ready for the next item?
I am. Go ahead.
All right. So we already did item 7, so we're moving to executive officer's report.
Yep.
In your report, you have the budget updates. This is always the fun one where we get to straddle the 2 fiscal years. What is in front of you for the last fiscal year is not complete. It still takes a few more weeks for us to get all of our bills in, get everything from the county. So we will close those books out, in the next couple of months. But we, did come in under budget. There were a few line items that just barely snuck over. One of them, I believe, is being corrected. It was for, we went over because of our workshop for the miscellaneous services. I'm still a little confused as to why we are over on salary. Part of it is Olivia resigned at the very end of the fiscal year, so cashed out on her some vacation time, but that doesn't accumulate for all of it. I think there may have possibly been a 27th payroll in that period. Every once in a blue moon type of a thing, you get a 27th payroll. Normally there's 26, so we might have just ended up with how payrolls ended up working with the number of days and everything, that there was an extra one in there, but we are slightly over on salary, but not by much. But overall, we came in well under budget, or should come in under budget once everything is calculated. And once I have a final calculations, I'll report that. And then for this upcoming fiscal year, not reported on there, we did get this week, or maybe the very end of last week. No, within the last week, we got our first report from the county on who's paid their dues. The county is paid. And then we had, I believe it was 4 other agencies, 1 town and 3 special districts. I think the bills might have gotten out a little bit later this year by the county because they have some new staff working on it. So I got to find out exactly what day it was, but people have 60 days to pay. I don't think any of the agencies other than the county that are represented on this screen in front of me have paid their dues yet. So make sure you're talking to your general managers or city manager or town manager and make sure that they see that they have the bill and make sure they pay it. And they could have paid it by now. What we get sent is who's paid by July 31st. And so we'll get another report beginning of September of who's paid in August. But we have started to receive those payments. And then there's always a few items that are well above what they should be for this time of the year. And those are our one-time payments for like membership and insurance and things. So those categories always are high. And then you see them, the percent stay where they're at for the rest of the year, or pretty close to what they're at for the rest of the year. Current and pending proposals, we have received absolutely nothing new. We may get before our next meeting. It's quite possible that Southern Marin Fire and Mill Valley will finally have come to all of their approvals that they need to do for a consolidation of into one fire department. That'll be a very big, exciting application when it does come to us. So I'm expecting that in September or maybe early October. So by our next meeting, we may or may not have that, depending on exactly when they do formal approvals. But outside of that, it's all quiet on the application front, which in some ways has been nice, but also We do utilize that to help try and balance future budgets. So if we don't get any applications in, it makes it a little bit tougher of a budget season for us come next year. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Finally, number C is the one that probably is going to need some discussion by the board. So I do want you to pay attention to this one. This is at the last meeting, we did get a request about how the chair and vice chair election process works. And so I did a survey of all the other LAFCos. I got a pretty good response from them. You know, we never get 100% response. There's a lot of LAFCos that just don't pay attention to the EO listserv. But there is a very even split on how they do them. Half of them do it like us, where it's just you elect whoever you want. There's no term limits, no sort of rotation involved. The other half, for the most part, have a scheduled rotation process, and there's different schedules. We're not here today. I don't want to debate what is the best way to do it today. Today is meant to be a high-level discussion about, do we want to keep what we have today, or do we want to figure out a rotation process or some other system like some of the other LAFCos do? If the discussion today says we want to do something different than what we're doing today, that'll go to the policy committee, and they will have the full discussion of creating a policy to bring back to the commission. So tonight is just a high-level review. Do we want to stay with our current process, or do we want to change it to where there's some sort of rotation or term limits put in place on the chair, vice chair role, so it gets rotated around in a different manner than how it currently works? And so with that, I do want to yield to the commissioners to have a quick discussion about giving staff instruction, send it to policy committee, or we're fine with what we have.
Okay, Jason, thank you. I'll make just a couple of quick comments. First is, I'm not going to comment. And Barbara, I guess I'm going to ask that you not comment as well, because this affects our positions with the board, and I don't think it'd be appropriate this time for us to make comments on it. But secondly, we're not making a decision tonight on whether we're going to be changing things. All we're making a decision on is whether there will be a policy committee meeting held to discuss whether changes are necessary, and then that policy committee would come back to the board. Isn't that right?
I want to correct you one thing. If the commission says we're fine with keeping things as they are, where we don't rotate chairs, it doesn't go to policy committee for a discussion. Policy committee only gets it if there is a desire to have us have a different process where we rotate the chair, vice chair position around.
I understand and agreed, and if I misspoke, that's a good clarification. So I see hands up, so I'm going to go just across my screen. Rick, you got?
Yeah, I'm satisfied with the selection process that Marin LAFCo has in place. Thank you.
Okay, Craig.
Thanks, Lou. So, yeah, I general feeling is that people that want to serve will step up, right, and will serve. I know prior chair was a public member. He did a great job. He was there for an awfully long time. Not to take away at all of that service, and he did a great job. But I did have a conversation with Dennis. I didn't know he was interested in running, other than County Supervisor Rodoni indicated that he'd like to see a rotation. And sharing. So I think we keep that option open for those that do have an interest, but it will come down to those that have the time, right? So those that serve on LAFCO, not all may have the time to rotate in and act as chair or vice chair. With that, I do like Santa Barbara's position, and Napa seems pretty aggressive the way they're going about it with very detailed rotation. So maybe we look at Napa as the terms are being filled now, but those are my comments.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Todd? You're on mute, Todd. Todd, you're on mute.
There, the purpose of doing rotation is normally to spread the load, so to speak. So as long as people are willing to step up, I'm happy with the way it's going now, but the idea is that, secretly it may be more work than you want to do. And the idea is for all of us to share the load, so to speak. So I'm happy either way, but right now it seems to be working great. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Then Jason, back to you kind of administratively. So what I heard was one comment from Craig that would favor having the policy committee look at something. And the rest of the comments are either, no comments or comments in favor of leaving it as it is. So how would we, vote on that, Jason, and what would the, or Mala, so that, so we can handle that?
Well, at the end of the day, if we want to go based off of a 2-1 vote, I would be saying I'm not going to call a policy committee together to do anything because it doesn't seem like there is enough support to actually change what we're currently doing. And that's kind of what I was trying to get is if we want to change something, I'll call a policy committee. If we don't, then I don't think we do. So having 2 speak in favor of keeping it as is, 1 against, and everyone else silent, I don't see there being a majority to change things. But if I'm wrong on that, someone please speak up and tell me so.
Jason, I think I agree with you with that comment. Vic, I think you still have your hand up.
Yeah, no, Lou, I agree with Jason.
Okay.
Really just kind of watch and thank you to staff for surveying these other LAFCos and what they're doing. I think it's good not to be an outlier and that we're following some sort of order similar to what other LAFCos are doing. So my comment was really just to watch that. Maybe put a tickler as the positions come back up and how others are functioning. But again, not slow down the process, really just keep an eye on it. Thank you.
That sounds great, Craig. Thanks. So with that said, then the position will be that we will continue as we're doing now without making any changes to the process.
All right, perfect. I do see Savelle you still have your hand up, or did you already speak?
Do I need to I spoke. Do I need to manually release it or
Yeah,
something?
you need to undo your hand raise, but I'll ignore that for now. I'll keep you off the
off?
report.
It's not now.
So LAFCO staff update. So you're all aware, you've noticed this strange person hanging in the background of our meeting somewhere on your screen. That is Stephanie Pratt. Starting on Monday, she will become our new clerk junior analyst. She has years of experience in the private sector and has decided she wanted to test out the waters in the public sector and see just how hard we work compared to the private sector. So I'm looking very forward to that. You will start to see emails coming from her on Monday. I'm actually purposely going to hold off on doing your stipend checks until next week so I can show her how that stuff is done. So don't expect stipend check signature stuff tomorrow in your email. Expect that on Monday or Tuesday. And I'm hoping that Fort Point or IT folks have everything set up for her on Monday so she can start on Monday. But depending on how quick or slow they are, that might hold off until Tuesday. So just wanted to introduce her. We also will be having, starting next week, an intern coming from San Jose State to help us with our archiving project, mainly the remediation side of things. Excuse me. We got an intern from their library. I forget what exactly they call it, but their library services stuff. They have a master's degree there. And we got one of their students to come be an intern for us, and they're mainly going to focus on remediation. We're going to teach and train them how to do it. Thankfully, Olivia doesn't start law school until the week after. So she's going to be helping train Stephanie a little bit with me and also help train our new intern on remediation. So we're going to get a good lap over between the two sides. I will say I will be coming back to you once we close out our books for last fiscal year with some budget adjustments for the current fiscal year we're in, because we're going to need to do that based on who we've hired and a few other factors. So just be prepared for that as it moves forward. And then finally is legislative update, which I'll yield to Jaron to do.
There we go. Okay, so back in March, we came before the Marin LAFCo Legislative Committee with a couple of bills that were going to be pertinent to us. One was the omnibus bill, which comes around annually. The other was SB 938, which created specific conditions under which a LAFCO could initiate dissolution of a special district with a 25% threshold, which is up from a 10% threshold. So the update is this past month, after essentially the culmination of about 4 years of work from the Cal LAFCO Legislative Committee, this bill did pass and is now written into law. So that is where we are at with that.
All right, thank you. And that is the end of the executive officer's report.
Okay, so then we need to end the session, adjourn, and then click on the other link to
We are,
closed
just
session,
for
right?
clarity, we're not ending, we're going into closed session. This meeting is still staying open until we return from closed session.
Correct.
Okay, So
All right, Chair Kayas, we're back to recording.
okay, so we just come back from closed session. We have nothing to report, correct, Mala?
Correct.
Okay. So let me bring up my tablet again so we can officially,
Are there any commissioner announcements or requests?
that's right. I see no hands raised and I have none.
All right,
Oh, do I hear a motion to adjourn for tonight?
I
So
so
moved.
move.
Oh, Judy got it. I'll do
Barbara
second.
moved, Judy second. All in favor, raise your hand. Aye.
yeah, you don't really need to call a vote on that. You can just adjourn.
I'm gonna do it anyway this time. Okay, everybody, thank you. We'll try to make
Aye.
this smoother in the future. Again, thanks for your support and we'll make it happen. Thanks, everybody. Good night.